Hello, beautiful Vallejo and friends. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Vallejo Talk Solution Media. And the slogan, what Vallejo could be if we lit it. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. Today I got a couple of special guests and some people that matter to me, dear to my heart, because there's someone that could really affect our community, their idea, and what they want to do here. And that is build a trade school. And one of the trades that their specialty is welding and human recovery, right? And the development of the human. They specialize not only in welding, the trade, but also the development of the human, from life coaching to home economics to financial literacy. And so currently, these good folks are being introduced around the city right now, so everybody knows who they are. And now it's your turn to know exactly who you are. You've already seen this gentleman on one of our previous shows where we were talking about trades with Mr. Calvin Harrell, and now you get to meet his lovely wife. Good folks, would you mind introducing yourselves to our lovely community?
Yeah, hi, I'm Glenn Mitchell, and this is...
I'm Vera Mitchell.
And what are you folks into? What do we have? What do we got going on in the Mitchells with the trade schools and the welding? Tell us something about it.
Well,
No, you're not looking for it.
You're a founder.
well, I'm the founder of Hot Dingerberry Welding Academy, and it's been in existence for about a year now. And my background is welding, of course. And so I've been doing that for the last 35 years. And so we have a business. It's called True Welding, and it's in Mare Island currently. And we're seeking to start welding school, Hot Dingerberry Academy. And it's going to target the youth. And also we're going to have some older gentlemen come in. They're going to be rehabilitated. Maybe some guys have been incarcerated and turn their life around. So, and whomever is open.
Awesome. You got the nonprofit started, right? That's good. That's what's going to be used. The entity that's going to be used
Absolutely. And that is the entity that I'm actually the president of. It's called God's Girls Day Out, or acronym GGDO, depending on the audience. And that started as a missions, community development, and educational nonprofit. And the missions are global missions. We've been to Haiti and focused a lot of attention in Africa, East Africa in particular. But we started stateside, or what we call domestic missions. And that was helping the homeless get hotels for the night, provide food and clothing and meals. And we just did that together out of our own pockets. And then I had an opportunity to travel on a missions trip to East Africa. And from there, it's like, I have to do something to create a vehicle to raise funds to help expand the resources to get to these people. So that's basically how we began. The educational comes in. That's where you hear about the welding. My husband and I have been talking about this for years. He's been wanting to start a welding school for well over 10 years. And so he was actually training people from his own pockets, including buying them equipment and things like that. And that began to wear a little bit on us financially, but I was doing the same thing when I did missions. If I didn't raise the funds, I spent 95% of my monthly salary to make sure we accomplished the mission,
Wow, that's amazing, and that means a lot as someone that's part of the community to have confidence that you guys aren't just talking about this. You're planning to see it through. You're in it to win it, and I love it. And you were talking 10 years ago. You wanted to start a welding school. What made you want to make? You're in welding. You have a business. Now you want to take it to the next level and start a welding school. Please, Mr. Mitchell.
Well, so roughly 10 years ago, I decided to start a school, and then so I was telling some people about it. And I said, dude, that's going to be expensive, man. You can't do that. And they was telling me how much the money it was and all the things I had to do. And it got a little
intimidating,
discouraged. And so, it's still in the back of my mind, but I kind of laid it down. I said, well, I can't do that. And so as time go on, you lay at home, you go to the bathroom at midnight or wherever, and you think about some of the things that you wanted to do, or things you didn't do, or things you didn't accomplish. And another thing too, people say, well, sometimes people die with dreams left on the table.
Ooh,
I say, you know what? I want to fast forward, and then we had some health challenges with my wife, and so I thought about her saying, yeah, I wanted some goals I want to accomplish. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna start looking into it. So I started looking into it. Happened to meet David. Happened to meet Terrell Trucking, and so this is how we got here. It's basically meeting some great folks, getting out there, letting them know about Hot Dingerberry Academy, and we're interested in progressing this school, targeting young people, and targeting whomever chooses.
Well, why do trades matter? I mean, explain that. What are the importance of trades and the impacts?
Well, also too, everyone have most people live in a house and have a car, and so trades is like, hey, I want to change my battery, or I want to change my flat, and that's part of the trades and mechanics. And then you have welding, and so people want to fix them at their house, and now they got to call this expensive welder. Well, it'd be great if they went to school and they learned how to do the basics, and our basic program is a 6-month course. And so, and then there is a string course, which is pipe welding, TIG welding. But, well, why should you do welding? It's a craft. The whole person comes out. You hone your skills every day. You're practicing, you hone your skills. You practice tie your shoe. So why not practice the welding? You don't get it in one day. It's study as you go.
One of the things I like to say about that is that with a trade, that's something you could take home and own. A lot of times you go on the job and you get on the job training, but it's specific to that particular occupation or industry. For instance, I work at a bank. I don't count money at home the way I count it at a bank. But it's same thing with working at a hospital. I don't greet my family the same way I greet a patient. We're trained to perform a specific function when you're on the job, a specific way. But when you have a trade, you have ownership of the entire design of what you're producing, what you're bringing forth, whether it's welding, a plumber. I don't flush my toilet or clear up a plug, and when you're just told it is stuffed up. I don't do it the way the plumber does it. The plumber comes in there in 2 minutes, he's finished. I'm in there for hours with a plunger trying to clear it. That's the difference between a trade, and that's why it's so important, because you have ownership, and ownership equals independence. When you go on a job, you can learn all these skills and get laid off and have nothing left. But if you have a trade, you always have a way to fund your lifestyle, to make a living.
When we were doing the show with Calvin the other day, he was talking about how folks that are trained to be like craftsmen, welders, mechanics, carpentry, that they tend to keep their area more clean. Like he was saying that there's like that they tend to have a more respect of their surroundings. What did he mean by that?
Well, in other words, when you, not saying that people in the office don't work hard, but when you work hard as a tradesman, you take care of your tools. You have a sense of what the value of something costs because you made it. You know what it takes to make that. And so, so basically what you're getting at is that you have more respect for what's around you. You have a desire to improve your game, meaning improve your skill level. And you focus on not just what you're doing, but other parts of the skill level to bring you up to where you want to be. That's a better craftsman.
And I bet too, when you own your own tools, like, you have a lot more fine respect of understanding, like if you break something that just costs you money, or the importance of not forgetting things, staying organized, keeping your area clean so you don't trip and fall over things. And so it's not only are you learning a skill, but you're also learning a little bit about like how to approach life, right? How to maneuver through life. Is this the same way you do your work life? It will transition into your home life, where it's like I said, the organization skills, keeping things clean. What would you say about that?
Yeah. Of course, you have to have a pattern of what you do. If your pattern is a build a part, and then you're gonna clean it. You have, and after you make your well, you have to clean it and say, okay, is this sufficient? This is what I'm looking for. And so you study improving yourself as you go.
Mr. Mitchell, would you like to?
I think you did well.
Awesome. Let's go with, what kind of opportunities does welding open up that people don't always see? Like you get into welding, but you were talking about this too the other day on the show, is that it opens doors and opportunities you didn't see because you had to get into it, and all of a sudden, because you got into it, that door opened. You were talking about that.
Right. So what? How does welding open up things for you? Well, like I said, you can fix something at your house. You can earn a living by welding, and also too, it builds the complete person. They said, well, if I'm a teacher, I build a complete person also. Well, you do, but this is hands-on. This is not just something that you do. It's something you do. It's a lifestyle. It's learning how to weld. It's hope I answered the question.
One of the things I saw in that is that just watching his career over the years, I've seen him do all types of welding. I've seen him weld somebody's winery, their guarding rails, ADA or disability railings from inside someone's homes or churches, ramps. I've seen him work on pipe welding, boats, truck trailers. I remember one time where things were really, really slow. And he said, I'm on my way to the truck stop. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't think to ask why. And I'm not really sure if he knew why. But while there, I think he said he helped somebody move. But he also, someone else came along and said, hey, you're a welder. I need this weld on my trailer. So, and that day he actually made more money in a day than he did in his normal occupation, just by having that trade.
Right. And so one thing leads to another. Now you go there for this reason. I went there just to hang out, just kind of get away from the house. End up getting, having someone move and doing a welding job. And like I say, had a good day.
That opens up something, actually, is that too, having a skill, having a trade, and probably you attract pretty good friends, or friends want you around. People start to like, hey, keep that guy around or keep that gal around. My niece is in welding now, and she's only 18. Awesome. She graduated early and started taking welding classes. Ended up getting into some temp agency, that sends around. She ended up going to Wahoo, and I've just heard a complete change in her whole mentality. She sounds like she's like 30 years old now. She's all talking welding now, and so yeah, that does a lot to know how to do stuff, especially for your own self. And people tend to be like, hey, can you do that for me too? And let's get into this. This is something that you also specialize in, Ms. Mitchell, where you guys are both combining a trade, but also with rehabilitation. We have California in general has a large population of unhoused folks that are living on the streets. A lot of them have gotten attached to substance abuse.
Yeah.
And so those folks, it tends to be a lot harder to get them to recover and stay recovered. I have a theory it's because we're offering them recovery, but we're not offering them a value to be able to be valuable. And so I always think that it would be a lot more successful if you were able to offer the person recovery and the practice abstinence and to abstinence from substance, not abstinence from, you know what. But when you could say, hey, we're going to offer you recovery and also a chance to get a trade, a skill, welding.
Exactly.
What is that going to do for that person? It's most likely they'll be like, okay, you know what? I could see a light at the end of the tunnel. Would you guys like to please talk about that?
Yes, I call that sustainability. It actually sustains the person in their development. While their development, it's like putting a carrot in front of their face and saying, wow, I'm reaching for this while I'm building this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm rebuilding the inner man. And while I'm doing it, I'm still learning this trade. And this trade is going to lead to this skill. This skill is going to lead to this opportunity. That opportunity is going to lead to a totally new lifestyle. I can do this. And so along with that, GGDO has mentors that we have come alongside of them to help them as accountability partners to see where they are, not just in their recovery, but also in their endeavor, whether that's a career or just going back to school. I don't know how people make it with just going back to school, but if that's what they choose to do, we're not here to discourage. We're here to encourage and let them know that it can be done. We're also an ear to hear when they're frustrated or when they had a good day. We're here to celebrate that as well. So that's one of the things that differs with Hot Dingerberry Welding Academy. You have a lot of trade schools out there, and I went to a vocational school as well. I didn't have that. I didn't have, we talked about counselors and things like that to help you with job referrals and things like that, but they could care less about what type of day I was having, where it was triumphant or I felt defeated. I had to work that out on my own. And I recall going to vocational school where I was actually becoming a court reporter. And during that time, we had a traumatic death in the family. And I was driving to Santa Rosa from Vallejo every day I don't even remember, but I just know I had the radio off and I was driving. I managed to get straight A's because I think I put myself on autopilot, but I don't remember half the stuff, I really don't. And it's like, I don't know how I even graduated, and yet I graduated with A's because it was all I could focus on was that. So with all that adversity, I was still able to hang on to my vocation of which I was training for, and so it's like that carrot kept me. And I believe Hot Dingerberry Welding Academy would do that for someone else.
Be a great carrot.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Your thoughts, Mr. Mitchell?
Well, I know that when you have a goal set in mind, you have a desire to learn welding, and no matter what happens, that's part of the rehabilitation part is to encourage. When our young son was going to school, and he said, Dad, I didn't get a lot of money from you, but I did get a lot of encouragement, and that's what really pulled me through was encouragement. What was happening when you encouraged me, and we kept pressing forward. Perseverance is what's going to get us there. Staying on the track, staying on the main line, the main thing. Yes, life happens, but we're willing to teach you the trade and also let life happen, and we'll walk through it with you.
That's right.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You were telling me that you have a chance to possibly bring an 11-year-old to start welding. I think that's really big, especially in this country of America, where we don't let our 13-year-olds even have a job. But 1,000 years ago, they could run a Roman Empire. And what is, it almost is like you're changing the protocol that age doesn't matter. I mean, if you kind of look at it, there's a little bit of age, I would say age discrimination in our country we hold back our youth. What does that do for someone at that age, 11 years old, to start learning how to weld? I mean, what would a future look like that for someone? Like, say, in 10 years, he starts now at 11. By the time he's 20, You're what? This guy's probably gonna have his own business.
Of course.
He's good.
I am, I say, honored and excited to see, because this young man is going to start actually next month. Of course, at that age, you would have to have a waiver from your parents, and his parents is agreeing to that. So, safety is number one, and the sky's the limit for this young man. So, we're excited for him. In fact, myself, I was 12 years old and I wanted to become a welder, and my dad said, "Not at this time, but just hang on." And then when I was 20, I became a welder. So, this young man's got a great opportunity to go to school, to regular school he's going to, and then to do this on a Saturday or after school. We're very excited.
What I would love to know is this young man's his blue light story. I call it the blue light story is because at 12, there was a welder that came to my husband's and family's farm to fix, what was that they were fixing?
Fix the plow.
To fix the plow. And he was playing afar off and he saw the blue light and he started running towards the light. And his dad was like, no, you'll burn your eyes, you'll burn your eyes.
Mm.
But it was that blue light for him that changed everything. And that blue light is what made him a welder. He pursued the blue light. And I would love to know, I can't wait to meet this young man. When he told me about him, I got just as excited, I can't wait to meet him to find out what was your blue light. How did you know that you wanted to become a welder? Can't wait to hear his story. And I'm glad we're a part of it.
Yeah, we've talked about maybe doing like a little couple films with this young man, just so we start putting out there that don't hold them back.
Yes.
Right. And that's what the slogan is like for my slogan for what Vallejo could be if we lit it. What could our youth be if we lit it?
Yes.
And now talking about trades, Vallejo used to be a major trade hub because of the shipyard. What did trades mean for families and the local economy back then?
Well, it meant stability. It the parents, that of course the families, they worked at the shipyard at Mare Island, and they built ships and they did repairs. And they even built submarines there, and that's the most critical welding you can do is submarine welding, because it's close quarters, and so you have to be a great stick welder and TIG welder to become a tube welder, basically a tube welder. Mm-hmm. So, but what does it mean? It would mean jobs. It means stability. It would the people that didn't know they had that skill level would just try and go, man, I like this. This is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we taught our son how to weld. He started at 14, and now he's a professional welder. But throughout the years, I trained him, and then he said, "Well, Dad, I'm going to college." And he went to college. He came back from college. COVID-19 hit, and wasn't no jobs, and so he started welding, and been going ever since. Of course, he, throughout every summer he was welding, so he got his training.
That's awesome. And that's how I came to know you good folks, is through Mike, your son, and it's in the bloodline because he sent me a flyer to post, and it was career day, and where you guys have your shop over there in Terrell's, which is another good friend, another guy that's mind is set on trying to rebuild the youth and develop the youth and offer opportunities. And I think that's great. It's the fact that it's a family, the Vallejo family. That's strong, and that's what we want in Vallejo. We need more Vallejo family participation like this, and creation and development. And I look forward to seeing your guys' journey. I mean, you're going to be on this show a lot more. As I develop my own little craft here and skill, I'm just like, I'm hoping this mic catches all this in the room. I mean, this is all new, but at the same time in my head, I'm like, I don't care. Let's just do it, and we'll hone it, right? And and I'll just say from my own experience, that one thing gets me into another thing and gets me another thing. But the thing is, as long as you put an effort towards something and trying to be good and get better, it does a lot to your own your own spirit, your
Yeah.
own morale.
Self-esteem.
Yeah, your own
Right.
confidence, self-esteem.
Mhm.
And that's what I really grasped at when when Calvin was bringing that up about what skills and craft skills and craft trades does to a person, because I come from carpentry. Both my grandfathers owned construction,
Mhm.
and one of their big things was keep your work area clean. Because back then, I know some of you don't know what electrical cords are, but we used to have 100-foot long electrical cords, and you couldn't have them get all tangled up and all that. You had to keep your stuff organized, your tools organized, because there's nothing more of a waste of a time as trying to look for your tools or you left them behind. So you got to be prepared. I mean, there's so much that goes with being a craftsman because you have tools. Here's a big question. If Vallejo invested seriously in trade schools, what could the city look like in 10 years?
Well, the way I see it, you would have little to no homeless. You would have a lot of houses being built. You would have more families having more children, but they're more family oriented. You would have families moving here from different places. You would have a more established police department. You would have a Hot Dingerberry Academy as one of your training hub institutions. You would have, and also too, they're bringing the shipbuilding back to Vallejo, from what I understand. So it would be, like I said, people with houses would be worth more money. You know,
You could really revive Vallejo. I see families thriving. You know, families are community. Plain and simple, families, businesses, the whole infrastructure of Vallejo, especially, you know, city budget and things like that. I see no lack. You know, I see a city of prosperity, a city of promise again. You know, remember Mare Island when that was thriving, and it, this was a place to be. Everybody wanted to move to Vallejo, you know, including my family many years ago from San Francisco. But I see, like Glenn mentioned earlier, the sky is the limit, but I definitely see a sought out city where people would want to migrate to and be a part of, a community that is solely thriving in a picture of what it could look like, you know, if we had these infrastructures together, if we had these hubs and training centers and jobs. And it's like, it's what every city desire, you know, it's what every city desires to be. Vallejo could be that.
right? And also a city by the water. That means that you got you got ships going out and ships coming in.
Mm-hmm.
That's mean revenue for the city.
And this is going to be extremely important to definitely put your guys' projects on like high. I mean, just get it going. I mean, we got to rocket this thing. Absolute urgency. We're losing Valero in May, I believe, and Anheuser-Busch. So Solano County is going to be hit extremely hard with a lack of those traditional jobs where you get to go. You just show up, put your 8 hours in, you go home, and you don't have to worry about no tools. You don't have to worry about loading up the truck, unloading the truck, or none of that stuff. And now the only thing that's going to be left is the future that they're talking about in shipbuilding and 35,000 houses they want to build in 20 years out in Sassoon.
Yes.
And then after another 20 years, they're going to have another 35,000. You know, they want to bring in 430,000 people to Solano County. And so someone's got to build that city.
Exactly.
Right.
And right now, Vallejo has its opportunity to become a trade school hub. And it starts with you two. And it starts with our community desiring this, demanding that I'm going to be taking them down to city council to introduce them. I said, all you folks come down. I mean, we got to start getting everybody on top of this so we can make some change. And then with the trade school, it don't matter who's in this city.
Right.
Now we have something to work with.
Exactly.
Everybody all of a sudden goes from turning into whatever you want to say we are right now as residents, But when you have a trade school, we now become clay.
Right.
Now we become our own clay and our own sculptor. We get to go to the sculpting class and become, some chiseled out whatever you want to be.
And people navigate towards that. I mentioned earlier, I was commuting to Santa Rosa for vocational training. People will actually commute. They will come to Vallejo to attend a welding academy, so it's not far-fetched.
And also too, in this welding academy, we're gonna have some job placement. We're gonna have some on the job. Go out with one of the contractors, or go out with myself.
Some
into
apprenticeships.
the apprenticeship program. It's not going to be like the union apprenticeship program, but it's going to be Hot Dingerberry Academy school apprenticeship. So,
what kind of welding or what kind of industries do your welding work with? Like refineries, pipe fitting. You got the refineries and wineries,
right.
And
so it's like we mentioned, all the new homes are built. Well, you want to run pipes in the ground for the water. You have to have a sewer pipe put in. Some that's concrete and some is pipe welding. And so it's
like when you worked on 80 by Berkeley.
Right. And in fact, in Berkeley, right there at Gilman Street, I put in 14-inch welding pipe in that new roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
I put all the pipe underneath the ground first, and then they did the roundabout.
Oh, cool!
And so that was one of the pipe jobs I did, and then I worked in the geysers for 16 years doing on steam line piping, the geysers. And so you got refinery work, which is not a lot right now because of what's happening. But you got the sewer for East Bay Mud, you got the water for East Bay Mud. So it's more. There are opportunities.
Did I hear that you worked on the Benicia Bridge too?
Yes.
And if you go across the Benicia Bridge, if you look up to the top on the left-hand side when you're going into Martinez, at the top there's a light. I built that stand. It was under the cover. It was over the top. How you going to say it? It was more over the top than under cover.
And Mrs. Mitchell, I heard in your voice the sense of pride you had.
When I mention that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. Also at the waterfront, there's a restaurant. He did some water. I don't know if it's the barges or whatever, but it's like, I remember being in a hospital actually, and they brought the newspaper and I said, wait, my husband built that. They had a picture of it, of the Vallejo waterfront. And so I just think he's so comfortable in his trade that he forgets the significance of what he builds. You know what I mean? And I, like a little girl, like my daddy did that. Oh, my husband helped build that. So those type of things, they don't get by me.
And that is Vallejo. For 141 years, Vallejo had that type of energy. My dad built that. My dad's building this. My dad works on this ship. My dad, and I think it's very important that we have to bring back the trades in Vallejo, especially like welding, which I think ours is Wendy the Welder. Yeah, Wendy the Welder. So, because there's Rosie the Riveter in Richmond. Ours is Wendy the Welder. So, I mean, it's just so fitting that this has to go down in the school. It has to get going. We got to start moving on it.
Yeah.
We don't have time. And like I said, especially with the refineries closing, you got Anheuser-Busch closing. People are right now scrambling to look, what am I going to do? And what better thing to do than get into welding? And there's so much work up here. And then they're talking about 1,400 square acre shipyard they're going to build in Collinsville, I believe, and then our shipyard, which is 18 acres, here in Vallejo. Folks, I really appreciate the time.
Did I hear something about a casino?
Oh, we don't know about that yet.
Okay.
I hope, We need more stuff like right now. Like
Well,
that.
I'm just saying, if they did, they would need welding too.
Oh no, you know what? They're gonna bring the casino, and then, but yeah, you're right. Is we forget about the casino? Well, I did, and I'm just let's get building it. But yeah, definitely welding is gonna be a big part of building the casino.
Yeah.
But,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to add one thing. So our schools, I'm saying the last 20 or 30 years, they took welding out of schools. This is an opportunity for the students that have a desire to be, 12, 14, 11, 12, 13, 14. I want to get the opportunity to see if that's something they want to do. And there's a wills away for those young people out there. And we're excited for you.
And I have to say that we do have a young man that works with us that was actually graduated. I won't say he graduated. He went to school for welding, but he got more working from us, with us, or Mitch, than he did out of the welding school. He got his certifications. You can speak to that.
Right.
But
So anyway, so we have
so proud of
one
that young
student
man.
that he just got his degree from the college in Fairfield in welding, and he's been with us for about 6 months, and he's been in the school for 2 years. He said in 6 months he learned more. Not trying to take anything from the university, he learned more from us, and then he did the whole time, the year and a half in school. Yes, he learned a lot of valuable things.
I am so on board with hands-on training. I don't know why we don't do that for hospitals, doctors, nurses. I get it. It's a business. College is a business, but your approach is going to be hands-on. It benefits your own business. You know what I mean? It all ties in together, and especially what it does to the community, what it would do to our youth at 12 years old to expose someone that young at that part of their development in their brain, and how you start putting them on the right track of like, I can do this. I have done it. What can I do next?
Right.
And that's what we need in our community big time. I think that's something that's really lacking in our country is value of oneself.
Right.
And, a lot of folks right now are scrambling around trying to do customer service jobs. There's not many of them. Plus, AI could take that.
Easily.
It's going to be a little while before they make an AI robot that does welding. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. So, welding's an AI proof right now, an AI proof industry. Let's go, folks.
Yeah, this is a everyone win opportunity.
Well, also, I want to add one more thing. I have a 75-year-old that wants to learn how to weld.
Nice.
And so, and he's a long time Vallejo, of course, and I'm excited for him also. So there's no age discrimination when it comes to or gender, by the way.
No, yeah, that is so important to offer something like that. It's on the table, always available, and this is something where. Right now in Vallejo, there's school closures. They just shut down 3 elementaries, and some people are scrambling on, why would they do that? And it's just because it's unsustainable. Where you have a trade school, like the dental hygienist school that's over in Pleasant Hill, the community can come in and get their teeth worked on for cheap because it's the students training while they're being monitored. That's the same thing a trade school can offer. A welding, mechanics, home economics. You were even talking about there's a way of generating revenue to make the school sustainable and worth the investment for the school district to put in. Where like an elementary, I'm trying my hardest to be able to say this in a compassionate way, but in an elementary, the parents at that age, with the help of artificial intelligence, a chat, some type of AI aid, teacher's aid, or whatever, a parent can teach their kid how to read, how to do that stuff, that simple stuff. And so the money that would normally typically go to a funding elementary should go to funding trade school, which can affect still a 9-year-old that can come in. I'm sure there's something a little 9-year-old could do with hands-on, just watching, right? Getting curious. At that age, it'd be more of like getting them curious.
Right.
And because like at that age, you're like little scientists trying to check out everything. But the thing is that 9-year-old getting around a trade school starts their path,
Right.
and the right direction.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you want to add any thoughts on
I
that?
have a quick thought is that when I was in 7th grade, I took a soldering class. And I didn't know that was a form of welding, but I made my own little jewelry box that I was so proud of. And although I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing, I was just following instruction. But the instructor took my jewelry box and said, now this is what I'm talking about. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I hadn't really fully wrapped my head around it, but I did follow the instructions and get the soldering technique in there and, put the edges on there and everything. It was nice and smooth. But, and it was fun, So just on that little note, I think, yes, a 9-year-old could learn.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, it's so important that we build a whole person.
Yes.
We teach safety. We teach discipline. You can't do this. If you do that, this is gonna burn you. We're training the whole person. And some people say, "Well, I'm already trained." Well, everybody needs a little training.
Right.
That is so true. The discipline part and understanding for every action, there's a reaction, and the reaction you want is going to be, yeah, good job, not because my grandfather, he took welding. Like him and my uncle went to adult school and took welding, and they said they saw one guy, the rod ended up heating up and gets stuck to the glove.
Oh boy, yeah.
And so that is so correct of what you're saying. And then the hit on what you were saying, Ms. Mitchell, was the soldering. I did one year. I did the Makers Fair, which is little gizmos and gadgets.
Yeah, I know what that is.
And these gals that were like 17 years old, they were volunteering from one of the local nonprofits. Shout out Vallejo Project. And so I put them with that area to oversee the kids that were doing the soldering. Well, they ended up learning how to do it, and they were so excited. They took home all the little ornaments they soldered and they soldered to where that made the lights work, and it completely changed those young ladies' lives. It took them to another level. Like I was saying with my niece, she sounds completely so different now. And she don't sound like a little girl. She's only 18, and she's over there like, yeah, I did the way she like she's like locker room talk. You know what I mean? But not like locker room, like just sound different, just more mature, a mature thing.
Right.
With trades probably comes with maturity.
Right.
You have to be very mature to work with tools because you can cost yourself your life. I come from, like I said, roofing and construction. And just knowing how to set up a ladder is so important. How many men fall off ladders?
Right. And training, and that's what the institution does. The Welding Dingerberry Academy, it does. We teach safety, number one. That's important for everyone.
And that's important in society, especially the way people drive. I'm for trades. I'm very for trades if they help people drive better. Well, folks, this is the first of many interviews. We're going to have many of them. I just hope that these microphones caught the voice because you speak kind of low. You're such a chill guy. And I love it. No, everybody loves you. I've introduced you all so far to a couple people, and I'm telling you guys are going to be the talk of the town here pretty soon. And you guys are a magical couple. I mean, I'm certain. I love your son. He's an amazing guy. I'll be interviewing him soon. He's got a couple internships that are available that I'd like to offer to the community. That's amazing. Already making a difference. And so anything you like to leave the community, especially where they can get a hold of you, if they like to get involved, donate, or maybe help take you to another department where you can find some funds, because that's where it's at right now.
Right.
Is Hot Dingerberry Academy, Welding Academy. Right now is you're already legit. Now you're ready to get the space and the funding.
Yes.
And so hopefully the school district might see this and say, hey, we can get you started, and then you guys take over. What? Sustainability?
Mhm.
Holy smokes! What
Yeah.
are we gonna do with all these smart kids now? You know, and all these adults with jobs and all these creative people. Man, can you imagine the creativity level that would go through this city? I mean, the art. I mean,
Wow.
the momentum.
yeah.
Yeah. So right now, our website is still being worked on.
But GGDO, theirs is being worked on too, I forgot. GGDO is the nonprofit organization, fully 501c3. The P.O. Box is P.O. Box 9052, Vallejo, California, 94591. Phone number 888-396-4451. That is one area to send funds. If you want a tax deductible donation.
Awesome. Any last words you'd like to leave before we get going?
Well, it's my desire is to get this on the books for January, February, March, and throughout. But also is that we want to change lives, and we can change one life. How about we change 50 lives? How many people will be affected? How many families will be self-sustained? They can come off welfare. They can, not saying they're on welfare, but I'm saying they can better themselves. And it's about building a whole man.
And there's so many great examples of all genders and all ages. Like I said, my niece, 17-year-old girl, second she turned 18, they took her on. She ended up doing like a 5-week job, or it was a couple-month job, and she was driving from Riverside to LA, like an hour there and back, and just so excited to be in this. I mean, she did the whole see and believe and conceive, the whole thing, and then they flew her off. That project ended, and they're like, "Well, we got a project in Oahu, out in Hawaii," and she the next day jumped on a plane like that, gone.
Beautiful.
And look at and I'm just saying the maturity that it brought her is amazing. And that can only happen from a trade where you go into corporate America or anywhere else, you start at the bottom, they keep you at the bottom. Until you get an AA, go get your BA, and I'll get you this just, you climb as fast as your effort and how good you get.
Right.
And I just think it's amazing. And that's why I've gotten so behind you guys and wanting to support you guys, because this is big for this community. This is good news, and that's what Vallejo Talk is all about. There's so many crazy things going on in the city that people's morale could be down, and this show just wants to expose. Look, don't get down yet, man. We got gold still there's gold still in them hills of Vallejo. And it's people like this that are going to get out there, that they're going to make a real big difference in the community, but can make it faster with your help, right?
Right. And David, I want to thank you for this opportunity. You are definitely a hidden treasure in Vallejo. I am so shocked that you have been snatched on someone's board by now. But we thank God for you.
Yeah, my dad thought I was a treasure too, and then they tried to bury me. No, I'm just kidding. Remember that old joke? My mom was, "Oh, what a treasure," and my dad's like, "Yeah, let's bury it." On that note, thank you, handshake, and everybody tune on in. I'm gonna try to chop this up, do some clips. And because this is really important, and I hope I don't have to redo this because the mics didn't catch your low voice. But next, I gotta really hone it in. This is our first time doing it. Thank you. Shout out to Muschetti's for letting me use their place to do these interviews. So everybody, have a good one. This is Vallejo Talk, and these are the Mitchells. Hot Dingerberry Welding Academy. Yeah, you'll be hearing more. You'll be hearing a lot more about them. All right.
Thank you.